Hello, Scott Hamilton, ROCKFILE here with another podcast for you, this time an advance album review of the second album from SAINT ASONIA. Now, you should have heard of this band. Adam from 3 Days Grace left in 2013, did a solo tour, and then 2 years later in 2015 popped up with this new band. Made a lot of noise on rock radio. My good friend Corey Lowry played bass on that album, and it was the start of big things. Well, here we are in 2019, finally got a new album together. Adam's had a child, Adam's had a stint in rehab, got his life together, wrote some songs about it. That's what Flawed Design is all about, accepting your flaws, being who you are kind of thing. We have a couple new members in the band now. We still have Mike on guitar from Stained. We've got Kale from Art of Dying on bass, and you have Sal from Stained on the drums. Brian Sperber produced, engineered, and recorded the album. Mixed it as well. This guy's been around for a while. Did Whitney Houston, Ozzy Osbourne, also Alter Bridge, and Stained. Go figure. It was recorded at Electric Lady Studios. That's actually a studio I visited in the late 90s. I was up in New York for a radio convention, and I was invited to the world premiere party for Rob Zombie's first solo album when he was leaving, when he broke up White Zombie and was doing the solo thing. It was a really cool visit to the studio. I mean, Jimi Hendrix built this in 1970. It's an amazing place to visit. All of the people that have recorded there, from Aretha Franklin to the Rolling Stones. I mean, it is a very, very famous studio. But this was a fun little party that Rob Zombie put on. Fake cadavers were around in one of the recording rooms. Their organs had been removed, and there was chips and dip in there. There were some dancing girls. They played a few tracks off the album because it wasn't done yet. But anyway, it's a spectacular place to visit if you can ever make it to Greenwich in New York and go see Electric Lady Studios. It's very, very cool. So I mention all that because it's a great place to record, but I can't really comment on the sound quality. Record label sent me 160K MP3s, and that's not, I didn't get WAV files or even 320 MP3. So it sounds a bit compressed to me, but that's the nature of the MP3s I'm listening to. Don't judge the final recording by the sound quality that I'm talking about. It's a very solid album, and I expect no less. You got all professionals behind the board and in front of the microphones. Adam calls it some of his best songwriting. I would say they are very mature, very well-written songs. Quick run through on the album. There's 11 tracks. Blind, the opener, is definitely one of my favorite songs on the album because it grabs you, it holds you. It's a hard rocker. Really like it. Sirens, the mid-tempo song that comes second, surprised me because he's got a guest vocalist, Sharon from Within Temptation. I wasn't expecting that. This August Day is a song that he wrote about the fact that he was going into rehab as his son was being born. Son. It's a riff-heavy song. Not exactly what I expected for such an introspective lyric content. But The Hunted is track 4. That features Sully from Godsmack and has already been number 1 at rock radio. If you haven't heard that song, you haven't been listening to radio. Track 5 is Ghost. It's a mid-tempo but a heavy song. Dustin from Starset co-wrote this song. It's another one of my favorites on the album. Rockin' song Beast. Keith from Breaking Benjamin co-wrote it with Adam. Another favorite on the album. Another heavy song, The Fallen, follows that. Another Flight is a mid-tempo song. The title track is a very melodic track, but not mellow. It's definitely not a ballad or anything. Then there's Justified, it's a good rocker, and Martyrs wraps up the album. It starts acoustic and kind of becomes a mid-tempo rocker. If I have an overall opinion of the album, it's solid. Solid songs, crunchy riffs, great leads. If you're already a fan of Adam's work, there's less production on his vocals. He seems to do more of just singing, which is great. I did notice a tiny hair of auto-tune here and there, but definitely not as drenched as a lot of today's music is. There were some cool vocal effects used as well, but most of them is just Adam doing what he does. If you're not a huge fan of this style of mainstream rock, this album will not change your mind. I mean, nothing jumps out at me as going, wow, I got to play this for my friends. But like I said, if you're a fan, you will not be disappointed. I would definitely pick it up when it hits on October the 25th. It's a good album. It's solid. I'm going to listen to it again driving around today and see how that goes in the car. It's the brand new album from SAINT ASONIA. in stores October the 25th. It's called Flawed Design. I'm sure there is a tour coming. I'll give you all the details on that on the ROCKFILE radio page when I get a chance, when I get them from the label. I'm Scott Hamilton. I'm ROCKFILE. My website is therockfile.com. It's got links to all the other things, like the radio stations, the online store. I still haven't got my dog. I'm going to do a page of links on that page. I need to do that. Yeah, you need to visit the Archer Files and see my cute puppy dogs. Anyway, long story short, I do these podcasts at kind of random times. I'm sorry about that. I've got a movie to check out tonight that's not out yet, so I'll have an advance review of that. And I just scored tickets for The Lighthouse. Black and white, very strange movie with Willem Dafoe from Robert Eggers, the director of The Witch, one of my favorite recent movies. It's a very strange watch. I can't wait to have my mind blown by Lighthouse, and I'll have a review of that one up by Friday. So please subscribe to the podcast. That's how you will know there's something new, whether it's on the podcast app on your iPhone or iTunes or Google Play or Spotify. You will be notified. It will just appear in your subscriptions. So please subscribe to the podcast. I very much appreciate that. Scott Hamilton, thanks for taking the time out of your day to listen. I really can't thank you enough.